All right, in this video, I'm going to be helping you out today with the dreaded car seat. Now, we've got 4 of these things. How gluttonous is that, right? 2 cars, 2 in each car. In my opinion, these are one of the most dreaded parts of being a parent, taking in and taking out these car seats. They give me a splitting headache and usually a jammed thumb every single time. So we're going to be starting with this one here. And we're going to be basically uninstalling all 4 of these. Now, you might have one that's the same or similar. I'm not really sure, of course. I'll put links down in the description below I'll try to find model numbers for these so you can match them up to see if this one's yours or not. But in any case, you can kind of get a feel for how these uninstall. Now, the first one we're going to be dealing with is a push button. Now, I highly, highly recommend you spend the extra whatever amount of dollars. Don't skimp on one just because it's $10, $15 more expensive. You're definitely going to want something with push button, and you'll see why later in the videos. But you can see how easy that was to basically uninstall it. I have operating the camera with one hand, and you just push the button and it kind of pops out. Now we'll get a closer look at what I mean by pops out later, because you can see we're going to take a look at what it actually clicks into, what we're taking it out of, right? Now this one over here, this pink one, does not have the push button. It's got these manual hooks that you actually have to put your fingers down inside, and that's pretty tough because that strap is tight, right? Which may be why you're watching this video. How do you take out this part? So in my opinion, in my experience, 2 hands, just like this, you can see in the upper left of the screen, 2 hands, press that gray button, push it all the way down so you can get slack in it before you take out the hook. Otherwise, you're fighting the inevitable here. You need slack in that strap before you can reach down and unhook it so it has enough play for you to move it, okay? So that's how that's going to work right there. And you can see that little strap, that hook. That's what it's, you got to push that in and kind of twist it and then pull it out to get that little hook. So the push button, the red push button that we saw earlier in that first one, is much, much easier. Okay, here's another look at the other side. Plenty of slack, so no problem. Once you have slack in it, it's generally just a matter of depressing that little pin, so to speak, turning it, and then sliding it right out.
Yeah.
Okay, now these may be anchored, and keep in mind, I'm not a professional. In no way does this video give you the instructions of whether or not you should anchor it or should not. You need to read the instruction manual for your specific car seat, right? Get it out or Google your model number and look that up, because depending on your car seat type, depending on your kid's age and weight, there might be different regulations in place required by the company or by law for you. So. But the anchor point is kind of back here on this particular vehicle, and it just kind of anchors over the car seat like that. Now we're going to be reversing the process later in the video and hooking this all back up, each one of these car seats. So you can see the anchor point. It's kind of one long seat belt almost, and I do like to keep it, slide it underneath the car seat as opposed to over the or not the car seat, the headrest, as opposed to putting the strap over the headrest. And with that, you can kind of, one-handed just kind of push that out. Now this particular one detaches. Yours might as well, so be careful there. If you're bringing it out, you'll want to pay attention to how to put that back together. In this case, you're going to lay it completely flat, and then it hooks up, and then you can bend it back up, so to speak, just like that. So that's how you take out 2 of those. Now both of these happen to be Gracos. I think that's how you pronounce it. And one is for a 3-4-year-old, and the other is for a 6-7-year-old at the making of this video. And now might be a good time to clean out the car seats as well, because, oh my gosh, they get pretty filthy. So vacuum the cup holders, get down up in there, down, up in there, however you want to phrase it. Now, we just took care of the 2 on the right. Let's take care of the 2 on the left. They are currently in our other vehicle. So how do they come out? Very similarly. And again, let's take One is a push button. You can see the red button back there. So the pink car seat has the red push button. And this other one is the manual clip. So let's do this one first. See how it's kind of hard to do with one hand. So you can put the camera down, or I can put the camera down. You probably don't have a camera. And we're going to, again, use 2 thumbs and push straight down. Push straight down. That is going to allow you to not have to wrestle with it so much. You want to create slack first. That is your goal. And then you can unclip the hook, so to speak. All right. And then the other side is going to be really easy because there's going to be slack in it already. Okay, we'll get that one out of there. And then this other one, push button. Look at that, one hand, easy every time. Again, definitely worth the extra 15 bucks or so if you're discerning whether or not you should, save some money. Huge convenience, that push button. You will not regret it, especially if you have a manual hook variety. You will be cursing yourself every time. Why didn't I buy that push button? Okay, now the anchor in your vehicle might be on the other side of the seat, or it might be on the ceiling of your car, or the roof of your, not the outside, but the inner part. You saw a little bar up there. We'll be reconnecting that here in just a minute. But for now, I'm going to wrestle this out of here. And why would you need to take these out? Well, if you only have one set, if you only have 2 and you have 2 cars, you're going to have to change them out every time, right? Oh my gosh, look at that. Disgusting, disgusting. Or maybe you need to take these out to actually clean, right? Things grow in there after a while, I promise. It's pretty gross. So do this regularly. Now, getting a closer look at that anatomy of the car seat, obviously you might have a different one, okay? But the basic functionality here, that strap that will click into your car, right, into those bars that are kind of inside the seat. We'll get a look here in a second. There's going to be one big strap that kind of goes down, and then at the top there'll be that anchor seat belt. Okay, so again, read your instruction manual for what you need to actually do depending on the age of your child and whatnot. Now, when it comes time to put these back and install them, notice I have that anchor strap draped over the top of the car seat because you're going to need access to that. And you could certainly hook up the anchor point first. I generally like to hook up the main strap down here. Okay, so this is the manual one. Starting with the right side, start the side without the adjuster. You can slide that in. You're going to hear a click. You need to hear that click and tug on it. Make sure it actually got in there. I've been fooled before putting it in there and you think it clipped, but it didn't. You got to tug on it and make sure it did clip around that bar that's inside the seat there. And your car should have markings as to where those are, so you can go out there and actually look if you've never done this before. And then we're going to tighten that strap up. Little tip, as you tighten, I like to put my knee and my full weight of the body in the car seat as I tighten that strap. Next, we'll anchor it up. You can see I might have an anchor point. There should be maybe 3 anchor points, at least in this vehicle that I'm in. So we'll attach that. And I'm splitting that headrest right there as opposed to having it go over the headrest. But again, follow your instruction manual. And notice we gave it a shake to make sure that it was firm and solid. All right, next up, let's go ahead and do this one. You want to make sure there are no twists or anything in that main strap that's going to be buckling into the car. So before you install it, make sure it is twist-free, so to speak. And then you can put it back into position. All right, we're going to start with this side over here. This side does not have that strap adjuster. And watch the push button thing here. You don't even need to push the button. You just slide it in and it clicks. Tug it, make sure it's locked on there. Boom. I will pay the extra 15 bucks every single time. I'm a huge cheapskate. Maybe that's what brought you to this channel. But not at the expense of quality, or in this case, not safety, but definitely convenience, right? The two are probably equally safe, but gosh, I hate the manual one. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Mostly because getting slack in that strap is really tough. They make it quite difficult to do. So use that technique that I showed you earlier. It makes life a lot better. Otherwise, you're going to have some sprained thumbs, fingers, right? And you might even try to get in there and with a pliers or something. That's not necessary. Go back and watch that technique again if you need help. All right, so we got that one in there. Now, another suggestion I have is using some, I took an old grill cover that was just kind of on its way out and cut it up and used it as a little mat to help protect the faux leather, false leather seats, right? So consider something like that if you have something that can help provide a barrier between that plastic bottom of the car seat and your nice leather or faux leather seats. That might be a good idea. You can see how nice and twist free that strap is. And then we'll go ahead and put this back in again. This is the push button one. Get some slack going there. Secured. Come over here, do the same thing. Make sure it's in the right orientation. And if you are installing one that looks like this, you know, you gotta, there could be a little lever or a little rolling ball on the side that tells you what angle your car seat should be. So you want to make sure that is per the instructions of your particular car seat model, right? Something like that. Like, for example, it says in this one, it should be in the blue, not the red, right? So obviously make sure it's in the blue. So read all those labels on the side of your car seat and the instruction manual. Again, nothing to mess around with. Safety first, always, always. Don't be apathetic. Don't get lazy when it comes to installing this, right? All right, if you're wondering what the other straps are for, you might have something like this. These are the actual, the harness that goes around. Can you see that? So that generally doesn't need adjustment. At least not something we're covering in this video. And if you are using some type of protective sheet or cloth, make sure that's underneath the plastic altogether so it doesn't puncture your seats or scratch them, right? Make sure it's aligned correctly. All right, now we're going to hook up the manual one again. You're going to want to twist it, kind of insert it, twist it down clockwise, and then it should snap in. Again, listen for that sound. You need to hear that click. And then tug on it to make sure it's indeed biting something. Here's that anchor. We're going to go underneath the headrest without hopefully having to take the headrest off. Yep, we'll pull that all the way down, make sure it's not twisted. And we will click that, make sure there's enough slack in there, click that onto the anchor point, and then tighten it up all the way so it is nice and secure. And that is it. Remember, I'm no pro, but hopefully this has helped you with the simple task of uninstalling and putting back in your car seats, those dreaded car seats. Wasn't so bad, was it? Heck, if I can do it with pretty much one hand, you got this, right? If this video helped you, please click that like button and don't forget to subscribe.